Grand Rising family, is Shay Seeking, and this is Not Your Mama's Bible Study, along with a little bit of His Story Lied. We are back in Genesis 2 today, and we're just going in a little bit. We're basically looking at the text again, and we're using literal way of looking at it. We're also going into, are we? Yeah, okay. So we're also going into etymology, and we're going to basically we're going to take a step back. We're going to get our heads up out of the clouds, and we're going to take a literal approach to the text, keeping his story in mind. Okay? And we're going to do our research here, and I hope that you guys do your own wherever you are. Again, I'm never here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm just sharing with you guys what it looks like to me. And that's just it. So we've already done part one. I just feel like I'm going to just go ahead and knock these out tonight because I'm feeling a little upbeat. Hopefully that doesn't change anytime too soon. You guys know I struggle to stay awake. So, yeah, we're just going to go ahead in this, and we're just removing all of what you think you know, setting it to the side for a second. We're going to remove all the bias, all the emotions, and we're just going to look at it the way it is, okay? There's nothing wrong with doing that. If you are so strong in your faith and your belief of this God, then this should not shake you one bit. So, let's keep going. We ended up, I think we ended with 2 and 4, okay? Yeah, in the day that God made them, okay? Let's see just for the fun of it, okay? Earth, land, common, countries, in their lands, countryside, distance, dust, earth, the ground, earths, okay, ground, lands have their lands, okay, wild territories, boom, 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 districts, tribal territories, piece of ground, use even Sheol. I think this is Sheol. I could be mistaken, but I really do think that sometimes that's what that's representing. Soil, people of the land, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so yeah, because we already know what the earth is. Okay. 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 So now, okay, now no shrub. Okay, because remember, you had to slow down a little bit in Genesis, because there was a part where I told you guys a long time ago, that is speaking of let the earth join with the earth. Okay, because I'm telling you that's probably considering the swarthier nations that were brought over here in order to mix with the land first, because they had to bring someone here and dump them off that resembled you in a sense, okay, to even try to penetrate the earth, okay, and then slowly but surely that led to them bringing in others. Okay, that's what this whole thing is really about. And ever since then, they've been bringing in others that have been climbing right on top of your ass. And while you sit here and worship this entity, using the energy that they have created, this bubble, in order to keep you indoctrinated, okay, and looking at the other aspects instead of seeing it for yourself, right? Using their pastors and all of their churches, okay, in order to do so, okay? So, again, we're not doing that. We're putting all of that aside and taking a second gander at the word, okay? So, at that point, I'm thinking what we're talking about is them bringing in swarthier nations in order to penetrate some of these people. And then later on, just like how whenever they came over there, they had a darker view being with them that would be the one to interpret what's been said. Because again, we was already doing this. melanated people and other people around the world were already trading and doing all this other stuff with spices and all this other kind of stuff. So, it wasn't like a turned into like a corporate thing until somebody wanted to get involved. Okay. And somebody brought them over here and helped them do that, whether they knew it or not. And I think these people in Hollywood and that are placed there in order to give you a perception of something, I think these are some of the descendants of them still using their trickery in order to subdue and I wouldn't say replenish in that sense, but mentally, okay, in order to help others, okay. We always want to talk about the so-called white man, but I believe that there are darker family lines and have lineage and have somewhat power here that are involved as well. And I think that those are some of the people that, or most of the people that are supposed, what do we call these people, y'all? Idols and oh my goodness. Okay, for us in our youth growing up, we looked up to these people, okay, for some reason, for their music, their dance, or whatever. And now we notice that a lot of the stuff that they've given to us and used these people to, uh, for us to engage or to engage with us has done nothing but devalue and actually bring toxic, okay. Why can't I get my simple self together? Okay. What they've done is bring nothing but chaos, okay, into our community, okay. Again, but we think because they look like us that they are us, and this may not be the case, okay, because nothing is new under the sun. The same people have been doing the same things, okay. So excuse me, I'm gonna try to get back on it, okay. So now know, okay. So that's the account of the heavens and earth when they were created, and the Lord God made them. Now, no shrub of the field had yet appeared on the earth. Again, no shrub of the field had appeared yet upon the earth. Now, I think we're talking about indigenous peoples, but let's just see what a shrub would be. Y'all, let's see if I can get it together. Let's see. Don't judge me. Okay. Brushwood. Now, for some reason, I don't know. This is making me think of Bushman. I mean, that's just right off the top of my head, but I'm not saying that that's what it is. Shrubbery, a rare and late word. Okay. Let's see. Brushwood, dwarf tree. Again, well, you know what? We could be talking about negritos. We could be talking about some of the other darker Asian peoples. Okay. Again, I have nothing against these people. I'm not making fun. I'm just saying people like the negritos, maybe even some of the Irish, smaller, I just don't know. Or some of these other groups that are smaller in stature. Okay. So, broom plant, brushwood, climbing wild pea, rough plant, again, extended from root scur to cut in all forms apart. Let's see, small piece, iron plow, land bordering a large body of water, shore. Okay, Hittite. That was another term I wanted to use, okay? See, it works. Okay. Hurts, wounds, kills, cuts, Hittite, cut off, cut to shear. Okay, short to cleave. Again, to separate, to cleave, hew, cut, and sharp with sharp instruments. Scarium, I separate Welsh. Mm-hmm. To separate, fragment. Okay, so anyways, cleave. Again, we have to get this straight. When it talks about in Genesis, when a man leaves his mother and father to cleave onto their wife, that is talking about, in this sense, and when we're talking about Genesis, we're talking about the wife being America. She, her. See, she, her. Okay. Uh, a lot of people like to use that term actually when it comes to um not so much. America is just her. We all know that. People, foreign people, we know this, that they use this term. Africa, they use it as the motherland, but again, we know that the motherland is all the earth because there was melanated people all over this plane prior to any of this going down. They didn't just originate in one place. This is why we all look different, have different textures, even of hair, different face phenotypes, different blood, types, all of this other stuff. Okay, so let's just get that straight right now. So again, for them to cleave onto their wife, if you look at wife, if you look at marriage, if you look at marrying, it's about grabbing onto something and then growing with it. It's about foreign entities coming in, planting themselves in a land, and then, this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about a husband and a wife getting married. At no point in time we're even talking about any kind of real marriage in Genesis like that. So what makes you think that this, you know what I'm saying? I just don't know. Maybe because I be thinking that everybody just in my head when I'm talking. So excuse me if that's what it sounds like. But again, that's just how my mind operates. But okay. So anyways, um, let's see, bent, curved. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Deep ruffles in the skirt, circular bands, rolls, line. Okay. Bent, curved, crispus. And they used to talk about the texture of our hair being crispy, crispy, curly, coarse. But anyways, we have curly, circle, ring, curved, ring, small ringlets. And I'm just, I was just thinking about this today. Because it always comes down to the hair. And I know that there are melanated people with all different types and textures of hair, but for some reason, I feel like really a lot that, um, because with the different textures of hair and what they appear to be just by looking at them, rather than the texture, the feel, and the way that I just feel for some reason that once they brought certain people over here to mix with certain people on plantations, that the tighter curled hair came from that. Not to say that we didn't already have curled hair here. Don't even think that that's what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to tell you that I think a larger portion of the people, okay, of the earth, the texture of their hair change, because we have to think about this. What were they using to determine? They were using your skin color, which was changing. They were using your hair texture, which was changing. And still, our hair texture is still something that is, you know, something that puzzles many, and something that, you would think it was new. But we do have to admit that some of these images that we were seeing of these people here, a large amount of them had thick, coarse hair, but not so much. Just because they don't give those depictions, I'm not saying that they weren't here. You don't see that much of curly hair. And I say sometimes I have to be a little bit fair and say that it might have not been that way. They might have changed the texture by mixing different peoples together. Okay, is all I'm saying. Okay, so no shrub of the field had yet appeared on the earth. So these is just talking about the offspring, basically. It's talking about the offspring. Nor had any plant. Okay, so any plant, like a real, this must be like a older shrub. Okay, maybe a native. You see what I'm saying? Okay, because it's just native to the land because you was born there. So again, any plant. Okay. Or again, any plant could have been the swarthier nations that were planted here. Because again, what do they do when they plant something somewhere? If somebody's trying to catch you doing something, or plant a wire on someone, we have to think of these terms as well. Okay, of the field sprouted. Okay, so they hadn't sprouted yet. Okay, For the Lord God had not yet sent rain. Okay, well, you know what? And let's just, I promise I won't take that much time. Sprout, spurt, spread, sprout, strew, sprawl, okay. Armenian, scatter, okay. Sprout, shoot of a plant, twig, okay, because yeah, then we're talking about branches, okay. So again, okay, see, I told you I wasn't going to take that long, okay. So let's see, for the Lord God, okay, so the Lord God had not sent rain upon the earth. Upon the earth. Once you know what the earth is talking about, what are we talking about? And there was no man, to cultivate the ground. Let's just see, because the ground is also speaking of something from the earth or the earth itself. Okay? Could we be talking Aboriginal? Okay? So let's just look at cultivate, because I think that will be very interesting if I can spell it. Oh, that wasn't, I did that by mistake. Again, I don't look at my keyboard when I'm typing. I just think I know, and it just happens. Okay? So cultivate by 1650 of land. Now, we already know where I'm gonna go with this, to see what was going on in the 6th day. And what was going on in the 6th day? God said, let the earth bring forth every kind of animal, cattle, reptiles, wildlife of every kind, and so it was. So again, there we go with the 1650s. Here we go with the 6th day in the 1600s, okay? And what we were just talking about in the text. So now they're waiting on what? Shrubs, plants, because they didn't let it rain on the earth yet, and there was nobody to cultivate the ground. So again, there's still some cultivating going. There's some mixing or something is going on here, okay? But let's just see. So again, cultivating. Could this have something to do with let the earth bring forth? So now they didn't already let the waters team together with the fish and everything. Now the second, that's in the 5th day, and now let the earth bring forth every kind. So everything now that has been produced from the earth, the offspring, the what did we just call it? The sprouts, okay? The things that were supposed to be sprouting, okay? So every kind of animal, all this other stuff that he had already planted. See, because it said no plants. Okay, so these are the things that were planted here. Okay, and God was pleased with what he had done. Then God said, let us make a man, someone like ourselves, to be the master of all the life upon the earth, and in the skies, and in the seas. Again, I, for one, think we're talking about the military. I think we're talking about a couple of things here, but more than likely, since we're already talking about war in the next chapter, I'm talking about the military might, meaning of the water, of the air, and of the sea. Your army, marines, and then a form of an air force. Okay? Because again, we think we know. Okay? So yeah, and someone to be the master of all of this, okay? Because they were already doing this type of war. They had already been through other nations and done this, okay? So God made a man like his maker, he made them male and made, and he made them, and God blessed them and told them, multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. You are the masters of the fish and the birds. So you already master of all of those, the fish and the birds already, okay? And all the animals, okay? And look, now I've given you the seed-bearing plant throughout the earth. So now he's giving you the seed-bearing plants throughout the earth and all the fruit trees for your food. We already know that that's about just for your substance, or just for something to nourish, or to, um, for them to feed off of. Like we say, they feed off of our energy, okay? And I've given you all the grass and plants. No, okay. And I've given all the grass and plants to the animals and the birds for their food. So again, he's given them for that food, and he's given all of the grass and plants and the animals and the birds. These are the lower grade, uh, uh, the commoners, the peasants, okay, from the caste system, okay? They're at the bottom, but they're still above you, right? Okay? Then God looked over all that he had made, and it was excellent in every way, and that ended the sixth day. So again, I know y'all going to get tired of me doing it. This is what we're talking about. To cultivate. Tilled. Okay, wait, I think I'm going ahead of myself. 1650, of the land. Till, prepare for crops. That's what's going on here. And this is what we're talking about in etymology. Etymology. Okay, there's that slur. By 1690s, of crops. So 40 years later, oh my goodness. I'm not even tired, and I'm doing the slur thing. Okay, so by 1650, of the land, and then it says till, prepare for crops. By 1690, of crops. Raise or produce. Okay, so again, produce, look into that. You'll see how it will be like duality, like it's speaking in a sense of the same damn thing. Okay, because produce, okay. And then if we're talking about livestock, we're talking about cattle, we're talking about chattel. You know what I'm saying? You look at these different terms in etymology, and I'm telling you, it's just going to show you what it is. Okay, by tillage. Okay, so again, they need somebody to till it now. Okay, from medieval cultivatus. Okay, to cultivate, tilled, care, labor, cultivation, to cultivate, to till, to inhabit. So to inhabit, to frequent, practice, respect, tend, to tend the garden, to guard, National Guard, revolve, move around, Indian Removal Act, sojourn with them. This is something I'm talking about in the Bible as well. The aliens and those who sojourn with you, or dwell, okay, or live, right? Okay. Improve by labor or study. Again, darkness on the face of the deep, and God was hovering over or brooding over, right? Okay. Same thing that they were doing. You guys went in the 80s, you seen them specials that came on TV when you see this white man in the bushes staring at people over in Africa, recording them and talking about how they operate. Like, quit playing, okay? So again, we know that these are the people that have been tested on so-called Tuskegee and all different types of ways ever since the beginning of the time, period. Okay? Sense of improve. Okay, again, it's going to take them some work to do this. But again, they're going to use you to do most of the work. Okay? So, devote one's attention. Okay? Is from 1680, meaning court the acquaintance of someone. So again, this is when they were basically trying to be your friend, moving up in the place, and boom, knife in the back. By 1707, again, cultivating. And what's this? Cruel, I don't know. Move around, sojourn, dwell, circle, wheel. He moves, wanders. Again, brooding, maybe. Applies himself a chariot wagon. This is starting to make me think about Ezekiel's wheel. Greek circle wheel. Oh, you know what else is making me think about? That circle that's around the UN thing around the earth or around the land. Yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. Other stuff too, but we ain't talking about that yet. Circular motion, move around, to frequent, dwell in, to cultivate, move around, polished, husbandman, again, tenant, farmer, settler, pilgrims. Any of these things starting to sound familiar to you? Colonist, to colonize. A road, a way, okay. Wheel, a wheel, okay. Root meaning far in space and time. This root with, okay, so forming words, blah, blah, blah. Completion of a circle. Again, it's also making me think about the dome earth. The last, far off, afar, at or to a distance. Old, ancient, long ago, far back, Breton. Pale, far off, Welsh, okay, whatever. So you guys get what's going on here. Okay. Cultivator, one who in which cultivates. Name of an agricultural tool to break up the ground. Again, colonizer, cultivator. 1680, again, capable of being tilled. Is this when this could happen? Seems to be native formation from cultivate. Again, what we were just talking about, native formation. This is the formation that they wanted, or the, so that they can have their firmament. And then the back formation would have been going back to Aboriginal or Indigenous. Okay, 1680 of plants, 1690 of land. So uncultivated. So maybe this is around the time when, oh, well, I think they did those slave laws at that point in time. Let's see, because the uncultivated land would just be the dry land, like they talk about in Genesis. Okay, those are the ones that did not want to mix. Okay, so 1640 figurative, 1680 of plants, 1690 of land from okay, or not. So again, the dry land represents the uncultivated earth. Okay, so let's just keep going. The Lord God had not sent it to rain, okay, upon the earth, and there was no man to cultivate the ground. Okay, so we already did that. Now let's just look at rain real quick, and then I think we can just move on here. Because there's other ways to spell this, but let's just use it the way that they use it in the Bible first. Rain, okay, rain with no certain cognates outside Germanic. Let's see, moist, okay, wet, flood, anyone? To wet, to moisten, water down, anyone? Okay, rain dance is 1867. I wonder why they do those. Okay, rain date and listing for outdoor events. Boom, 1948. So yeah, we ain't even talking about that. Okay, to know enough to come out of the rain. Okay, so so this is them holding their own. So to know enough to come out of the rain. What? The reign of the earth, because again, they don't want to tell you about the so-called white slavery or the slaves that had to serve under so-called Negro or American Indian for a certain amount of time. And see, that's who was fried. Okay. That is who was freed in 1776. Not you. Not you. Matter of fact, them slave laws that came said you will never be free. So, rain. Let's see. Transferred the figurative use for other things that fall as rain. Blessings. Tears. To rain on someone's parade. Again. This is not going to really give us anything, really. Side roof. Okay. Rain, water, raincoat. So let's look at it in a different way. Kingdom. Thy kingdom come. Anyone? Early 13th century. Okay. Are we in the third day? I don't know. Okay. So we'll see. Kingdom, kingdom, land, country, kingship. Again, just look at all these things. King, your majesty. Look up majesty, magistrate. Look up all these terms and see, is this really just what God is? Mere men in their family and their bloodlines that are still pulling the strings today. Dominion, because God said, and have dominion over them, right? Rule, realm. So again, do we have to just say that God sent every king and things that came down? Or are the kings really the gods? Or it's up to you. Related to rule, to direct, to keep straight, guide. I'm telling you. Move in a straight line, with derivatives meaning to direct in a straight line, thus to lead, to rule, meaning period of rule, first recorded in 14th century. Reign, to hold or exercise sovereign power. Late 13th century, rule, reign, again, have royal power or be put on high, or your highness. That is where heaven is. It's just an elevated status. It is just them coming in, like the Bible says, coming in within you and then rising up above you, basically. Okay? Be king, rule, reign, dominionship, rule. Move in a straight line. Boom, boom, boom. Reigning, pertaining to a reign, especially in reference to the day or year a reign began. Okay, same thing. That's why these dates are very important, because we're basically talking about, go back and look at some of the dates and some of the times and some of the ages when this person started ruling in this day or that day, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, hopefully, especially a reference to the day. Okay, boom. Direct straight line, lead, rule, a king, a leader, torture. Oh, let's see, govern. There you go, right there. Meaning why I call it the governing forces. Okay, and then it also says genitive, regis. So again, this is something from the beginning, their beginning, because that's all Genesis is. It is their creation of a nation on top of a prior primitive nation that was already there. They decided to leave you out or change the way your appearance is so that we don't know who we're talking about. And they've been having you on the ground, cursed on the ground ever since. Okay. Let's see. There was a term. No, there was a term I thought that I wanted to look into. Oh, irrigate. Okay. Supply land with water. What are we talking about here? What are you talking about here? To irrigate, supply land with water. If I'm telling you that this Bible is referring to land as black people, so-called, okay, and the foreigners represent the waters, what are we talking about? What happened in 1619? What happened in 1610? What was happening in 1609? When did the first so-called Caucasian women make it to the shore here in America? This is just questions you should ask. Lead water to refresh. Okay, replenish. Is that what God said in Genesis? I think he did. Irrigate, flood. Again, Noah's flood. Who else had a flood? Are we talking about the same flood? From assimilated, okay, into, on, into, upon. Again, this is talking about you. In. It forms all parts of. Okay. In, into, near, at, in, within. Interior. Because remember, darkness was on the face of the deep. Okay. Inward, within, inside. Okay. Let's see. Flood, moisten, to direct, leading water onto the field, again, or to the root of regear. I don't know. Be stiff, literally stretch. Okay. The first better suit, the sense. Okay. And let's see. Irrigating, watered, flooded. Mid 15th century. Again, what were we saying? And the third day, because that's what I think we were supposed to go back to. Dividing the vapors above the waters. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Then God said, let the waters beneath the sky. That means beneath the heavens, beneath the higher up. Okay, and that is the people at the bottom of the pyramid. Okay, the base of the actual pyramid itself, not on the ground in the caste system. When you look up the caste system pyramid, you'll see what I'm saying. Gathered into the ocean so that the dry land would emerge. So the dry land would emerge, and it was so. Then God named the dry land earth, and the waters seas. This is your so-called black and your so-called white. Okay? And God was pleased, and I guarantee that we'll find out that that's what that black and white checkerboard that's underneath the George Washington Freemason image in the checkered black and white floors that are represented in your music videos from some of these people that you worship, all kind of movies. Once you'll see what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure most of you already know. And it was so. Then God named dry land. Okay, and he was pleased. And he said, let the earth burst forth. That means let these niggas bring forth every sort of grass and seed-bearing plant and fruit trees with seed inside of itself. Now, this is what it was saying when they can now move away. Okay? I can't remember if this was the term or the other. No, it was another term. Wait, no. To direct, lead, on the notion of leading water onto the fields or to the root, to be stiff. Okay, so again, now we're talking about them having the seed inside of the fruit so that these seeds will produce the kind of people, it says plants, but people and fruits, children, they came from. And it was so. And God was pleased, and this occurred on the third day. So it's so funny that this is where we are years later. So I just can't, and then if you want to say we're in the sixth day, though, we were already talking about this in the 1300, the other term that I brought up. But if you're going to go ahead and read the sixth day again, you're going to see the same thing. You're going to see the same thing because this is exactly what we're talking about. Okay? For the Lord God had not sent it to rain and whatever and cultivate. So I hope that we're clear on, or pretty close to, giving up what you've been taught and really looking again, because I just don't know. Okay? I just don't know. But springs welled up from the earth and watered the whole surface of the ground. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Let's see. Springs. Let's see. A mist. Okay, yeah. In the midst of the garden, or just a mist, because then that's what happened, really. And then he collected the dust and whatever he did after that. Betake oneself to a place for dwelling. Again, what are we talking about? Be tenderly inclined, have spring, cloud, again, caught up in the clouds. Flood, mass of water. Okay. That which affords protection, shade, and otherwise. Again, what are you talking about? I know what we're talking about. I know exactly what we're talking about. We've been played. That's what we're talking about. And water the whole surface of the ground. Faces. Oh, because remember, darkness was on the face of the deep, wasn't it? That's talking about your black ass. And you think, for some reason, that you want to put yourself in this storyline in Genesis. I'm trying to tell you, this is just talking about. And we wonder why things like race are so still such a prominent problem in the world today. Because this is what God is talking about in Genesis 1. In Genesis 1 and 1. What you talking about? This is the first of the book you love so much that you think you know what it's saying. Face, faces, panem, panem. Okay, let's see. Above, abroad, accept, accepted, account. All these other words we could just, you could spend your time doing that. But we don't have that much time because we'll be here all night. And we're going to go ahead and end this one here because I'm pretty sure this one is pretty long too. And we'll be right back with part 3. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Yeah, so I hope I didn't lose you guys. I will definitely see you guys when you come back. I just don't know. I mean, I think we could go on probably just one more before I get too tired and I have to just shut up because ain't nothing going to make sense coming out of my mouth after that. So, yeah, until next time, take care.